Hope you're having a good day. I've been asked by a lot of people to do a video on this to try to make things a little bit easier for some of you that are having difficulty. It's not that difficult, but there are a few things that you have to follow. Otherwise, you're going to run into all kinds of issues, and a couple hour job is going to turn into days if you're stuck in the same dead spot. So I'm going to walk you through it. Okay, here we have an old 2012 MacBook Pro. It's an i7 with, I think it's got 12 gigs of RAM. Let's take a look. It's slow because it's still got an old mechanical hard drive in it, which I'll be changing in the future, but for now, we'll walk you through this. Now, the deal with OpenCore Legacy Patcher that some are not familiar with, first of all, of course, you're going to download OpenCore. Let's see if we can get to a Google page. There you go. Take us right to it. Just follow these steps because this is where you want to start basically. You've got to download the asset file, the package file. These are the simple parts. I'll walk you through the step. Just come over here to build and install OpenCore. Over here again, OpenCore Legacy Patcher releases. Now sometimes you'll run into an issue here where you just have a spinning wheel. Sometimes Cortana's site will not operate the way you want it to. Click on latest because 2.4.1 is our latest edition. And here's where when the page comes up, you're going to want to scroll down a little bit to the assets and download your package. Assets, see, yeah, there's spinning wheel I was talking about. Luckily we got through. You're going to want to download OpenCore Patcher package, which I've already done, but let's just say we downloaded it. And I'll bring you over to our download area. And again, like I said, these are the simple parts. You download the package expands, and of course it installs, which of course I've already done. Once it's installed, this is the key. This is where people do not understand and pay attention to what's necessary. Every install of Open Legacy Patcher is different. What I'm trying to explain is this Mac right here is running High Sierra. So I was able to actually access the internet, download the file that was necessary, and install OpenCore Legacy Patcher right directly on this machine. A lot of folks are not in that position. If you have an older Mac OS, Mountain Lion or El Capitan, or as far back as you're not going to get to the internet to download that package. So what a lot of folks do, normal, they'll take their other Mac or any other Mac that's available to them, download OpenCore on there, and make their bootable disk to install OpenCore Legacy Patcher on that disk, on the USB. The problem is, you are now building an installable USB on a completely different Mac. What I'm trying to explain is, if you build that USB boot disk on an iMac, on a MacBook Air, then attempt to install it on a 2012, 2010 MacBook Pro. When you finish the install, you're gonna run into all kinds of issues because it's gonna say you're running a incompatible edition. It wasn't formed for that model. But that's easily fixed. when you install OpenCore Legacy Patcher, right here, you notice it says this MacBook is a 9,1. Let's just assume I was building the installer on an iMac. iMac is completely different. The model is going to be completely different. So it's going to build that USB installer for a different version for me to use on here. I'm going to run into all kinds of problems. But you can correct that problem. Go into settings. As soon as this thing lets me get in there. Slow. Change your host model to the model that you are about to install to. It doesn't matter what you're building the installer on, whether it be an M2 Mac or a MacBook iMac or it doesn't matter the model. Select the model that you're going to install to. iMac 9.1. Let's just say I'm trying to install it on an iMac 14. I'll select that as the host and we'll come back and it will build the installer for that version. That's what you want to do. That way when you go to boot off of that newly created disk, it'll boot properly, it will install properly, and when it finishes, it will install the post-installer root patches correctly, and everything will work fine. This is the method that a lot of individuals forget that's necessary. Don't always want to read all of the information. Hell, I don't want to read all of the information most of the time when I go to these sites. But some of it is critical, and believe me, I learned this the hard way myself by figuring out what was going wrong. So you make sure that you build that USB installer for the model that you're going to install it on. Because you know as well as I do, most of us run across these old models, and I say old models because it'll have El Capitan or Snow Leopard or some other version on it that there's no way possible. You can't even transfer OpenCore Legacy Patcher from a USB disk onto that Mountain Lion and install it. It won't allow you to install it, so you can't install it there. You have to make sure that you create the USB installer for the model that you're going to install on. Now we're going to go through with this and we're going to make a disk. We'll have to speed it up because this thing takes a little bit of time. It's all about patience. And here, all you want to do is make sure that you build the proper installer. Create your installer and download or use an existing installer. I can use existing, and let's see what I've got on this drive. Mojave is the only one that's on here. We don't want to go there. That still will not provide us access to the internet or install any program from the App Store. This is build and install. This is where you want to install it to your disk, which of course I'm not going to do, seeing I've got it selected for an iMac 14,1. No, we're going to back up. Now it's not going to let us back up, is it? Let's see. Yeah, it'll take us back. We want to download a new version that we're going to use on here. Now, honestly, you can take this as far as you want. You can take it all the way up to Sequoia. There's nothing available for Tahoe yet, so don't even think about that direction. I'm not so sure that they're gonna be able to come out with something in the future for that. But what I would suggest is sticking with Monterey. It will operate completely correctly on the internet, allow you to get to any website you want to go to and install the majority of programs. So we'll select Monterey and start the download. Well, we're just about there. Then we'll go on to the second part, which of course is building the actual USB installer. I'll take you step by step so you can see exactly how it's done. Okay, now we're here at the installer. Once you get to this point, obviously pop in your USB stick and we'll move forward with the selection. This will take even longer than the download and verification did. Yes, it's a process on these older machines, but it definitely comes out well. Okay, well, of course, because I've got more than one installer on here, I select my Monterey. It'll now ask me which disk to install to. And yes, we're going to go to my USB drive. Of course, it's going to erase everything on the drive, but we expected that. And the creation begins, which again, like I said, will take longer than the download. But we'll be back and speed all of this up onto the next phase. Well, you can go grab a sandwich if you want. This thing's chugging along, but it'll get there eventually. I think I'm gonna grab me a shower. I got plenty of time. And like I said, I ran off to the shower, so I'm back now waiting for the end of this process. It all takes a little work, but we're getting there, guys. Okay, I'm kind of glad this happened because this does happen on occasion, more often than you might want. Corrupt installer, either through the download or the actual making of the USB. All you have to do is start over, not with the download. You just start the makeover again for the USB and it will complete correctly eventually. Well, the second run is almost complete. We'll see if it comes through this time. Well, looky there. It's sure enough finished correctly. Everything's ready for the next step. Okay, now's the fun part. You boot off the disk, the USB drive. When you reboot, just hold your Option key until this selection comes up. Select OpenCore. Now select macOS Monterey, which is the upgraded version here. And this will take a good 45 minutes if you're lucky. Well, we're getting there. It's very slow, but that's what it takes with an Apple product. Well, we've rebooted and she's moving forward. We'll see when she starts her way in. It usually reboots several times. Patience with this thing. Well, this project is coming to a finalization and we get to move on to the final install of macOS Monterey on an old beast. Oh, we're coming up to our final boot and I think we're going to get in. It's only taken about 2 hours for this old beast to complete, but we'll see how Monterey pops up. There it is. Well, OpenCore Legacy Patcher will do it and bring these old puppies back to life. I hope this video has helped you. Leave any questions you have in the comments. I'm happy to respond. I'll be making several more videos and do some stuff on iCloud locks as well. Enjoy your day.